World-renowned human performance expert, executive coach, best-selling author.
And I want to congratulate Ron Kardashian.
Over 12,000 hours of one-on-one coaching and mentorship.
He's a health and cognitive expert.
Known as a spiritual confidant to respected industry leaders. CEO of 3 companies.
Coach and minister Ron Kardashian.
Good friend, Coach Ron Kardashian.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Always Winning in Leadership. I'm your host, Tim Boyko, and I'm joined by the gifted executive coach, Ron Kardashian. Today's topic, the proof your nervous system is driving your company more than your strategy. I'll be back at the end to wrap things up. Take it away, Coach.
Thank you, Tim. Always a passionate, enthusiastic co-host. That's what I need. We need some good enthusiasm. Comes from the Greek word enthusios, which literally means God in you. I love this. I want to talk about the regulated leader today and why your nervous system is driving your company more than you think. It's actually driving strategy. And I want to frame your leadership insight from intellectual, physiological to outcomes, because it works in this titration process. Now, research at Harvard University, I have it here, and Stanford shows leaders under chronic stress show up to 30 to 40% impairment in executive function, full impairment. That's working memory, decision-making accuracy. Meanwhile, the HeartMath Institute demonstrate that heart-brain coherence increases cognitive clarity, emotional regulation, and interpersonal synchronization. This is powerful because for all you executives, your nervous system is your P&L. And this is important to reframe this, because the more continuity that you have in behavior produces the outcome. And that outcome comes monetarily sometimes. Now, the strategy isn't broken. Sometimes the nervous system is. Just got a phone call the other day from an executive. The COO fired up on the individual, turned into a lawsuit. Just like that. 1 30-second decision. It's contrarian, right? This calls out high performers. It creates a curiosity gap amongst your team. And the best CEOs do not think better. Tim, we talked about this. They regulate better because it prioritizes authority. It's clean and it's a repeatable soundbite that people can expect from you, right? So let's talk about the hidden driver, right? This leadership myth. It's all mindset. It's all mindset. Well, the reality is it's state-dependent performance, right? Because then if you're out of a certain state, you won't be able to regulate. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but that's the way it comes out, right? Prefrontal cortex goes offline under stress. The amygdala, the fear, flight, freeze, it creates reactive leadership. Now, this is not just Coach Ron saying, this is University of Yale, Tim, that I was able to reference. Got it right here. Research shows emotional regulation is one of the strongest predictors of leadership effectiveness. If you feel like you are out of sync a lot, you're dealing with anxiety and depression, who of us isn't? I just want to clean the slate here and give you freedom to be you. This is why we have Le Confidant executive coaching, is that we're in 150 different market sectors helping leaders stay on top of their game. I call it quiet authority. It becomes the strongest predictor of leadership effectiveness, outperforming IQ in many contexts. So if you are dealing with maybe childhood trauma, it's creating dysregulation in your leadership, or possibly you're dealing with an inferiority complex, or you don't feel you're handsome enough or beautiful enough. All of these areas are completely normal. Your choice to do something about it. Help is here. And these are easy fixes. We're seeing 90 days, 120 days, renewal processes where P&Ls are compounding because the emotional state of the leader is regulated. Now, this show is mainly governed to leaders in high stakes environment. You know, you go to bed at night thinking about the company, you wake up, you're trying to meet deadlines, you're trying to meet budget. So I'm speaking to you directly, but I'm also speaking to the person who's looking to get hired. If you're looking to accelerate your role in an executive leadership capacity, they're not just looking at your resume, they're looking at your AQ, adaptability quotient. They're looking at your EQ, emotional regulation quotient because they want consistency. The strongest predictors of leadership effectiveness is emotional regulation. All your degrees matter, all your school matters. I'm not ruling that out. We're seeing this politically. We're seeing, and people are complaining of dysregulation in government. Why? Because people get afraid of volatility, right? Let's talk about the cost of this. Just like this executive, Tim, who lost his marbles the other day, if you will, at this sales rep, and he was a senior level, I think it was SVP of sales. The other executive had told me, he's filing a lawsuit because of the way the man completely lost control. And what happened is it's directly tied to business outcomes. So the COO is working with the head of HR trying to hire new people, but because of his dysregulation, he has poor hiring decision because of the emotional vitality, validity. There's the word, not vitality, validity. It created a team instability. So, in one hand, he was trying to handle the situation. He lost control, but actually, it's secreted down into his SVP, who then discharged this into other departments, where it created what we call cultural fragmentation. Now, this isn't me. Studies from University of California show emotional cognition spreads rapidly into teams and becomes contagious. Leaders set the tone within seconds. Now, I wrote a best-selling book. Tim will probably flash it up or it'll be on the screen. 30-second solution. And it was really on the premise of leaders who make these impulsive 30-second decisions that actually cost them 30 years of their lives. We see them in pro sports all the time. We see disgruntled, sports athletes lose complete control. They'll get fined, There's a shrine outside near my home on this main intersection where a little girl had died. And it was because one man decided to go on to incoming traffic, one 30-second decision, not wait his turn. He plows through the light while a father and a little girl are riding their bikes to school. That one 30-second decision, Tim, cost that man 3 30-year life sentences. Don't talk to me about how your life can't change in seconds. This can happen in the positive way too, through getting training, increasing self-confidence, increasing composure. And our algorithm is the best state-of-the-art algorithm to assess these behaviors. Once you see them on paper, outcomes change overnight. Now, they don't stay consistent, but your recognition of them begins that night. And people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge because they really don't know what are the systematic drivers operating inside their behavioral traits, and it's causing them to get fired, get pay reductions, increase, of course, biological issues. You begin to feel sick. You get more depression, anxiety. The list goes on and on and on. People don't follow your vision, CEO, executive. They mirror your nervous system. Something very interesting that I want to bring up about Mark Zuckerberg. People give him a hard time. He's very monochromatic. He's very much kind of like a robot. This bodes well for his, 100,000 plus employee base, $1 trillion market cap. Watch the behavioral traits of some of the leaders. And I'm not saying adapt his personality. I'm just saying pull from the wisdom and behaviors of some of the top and just watch their behaviors. That's all. Some people may say this, that, and the other about him. I'm not talking about Mark as a person. I'm just talking about him from the position of regulation. That makes sense, Tim? So I guess the big question is what's the advantage of being regulated? Well, I want to introduce our framework because I am working not just from a top-down approach, but from a bottom-up approach, okay? New studies showing that the heart-brain connection is actually more powerful than the brain-heart connection. just want to make this simple. And we call it heart first regulation, HFR, which I teach executives how to tap this powerful regulating system in the heart that never fatigues. It beats 2,200 gallons of blood every single day without you lifting one finger. This organ in your body is working for you. And now, HeartMath Institute and a lot of other ones have ascertained that these 40,000 plus neurons are actually more influential on the brain than the brain is on the heart. This is powerful, especially if you've got arterial heart valve issues. Current executive I'm coaching right now has a left atrium issue. Well, the vagus nerve, which is responsible for regulation, actually webs itself right around the left atrium. He's eating good. He's exercising. Why is he having high cholesterol or hardening of the arteries around the left atrium? Emotional dysregulation. So eventually, what I'm really messaging to you is that I'm trying to save your life. And I just want to admit I'm guilty of this. I remember coming in and, to the house after being at the office all day, and my wife would say, "What's wrong with you? Why are you in a bad mood? Oh, this, that, this." She said, "Every single week you're letting somebody else get under your skin." And then I would fight her and tell her she doesn't understand the pressure. That's dysregulation both ways, from the office right into from the boardroom to the bedroom, I call it. And I help executives with this because the dysfunction in the home is directly reciprocated into that boardroom. That bedroom, it does govern that boardroom. Oh, yes, it does. Make no mistake about it. Just let me talk to all the guys that I've been coaching who have this, that, and the other on the side. And I won't get into it now, but even women too. I have a woman executive who called me and has a serious pornography issue. She's a high-level executive. And I said, well, join the club. You're not the only one. Because I don't want anybody to feel beat up. I mean, now, if that wasn't your issue, maybe it's inferiority complex, or it's obesity, or high blood sugar, or there's something that we're dealing with, and I'm not into pointing a finger. I'm into regulating it. So heart-brain coherence triggers the parasympathetic nervous system. That's what activates it. That system is the gas pedal. It keeps you flowing. It keeps you going. If not, you're in sympathetic, which is the brake system. And you're constantly applying brakes in every one of your ethoses: home ethos, business ethos, on the road ethos, your club, your gym, your extracurricular activities, your group of guys, your hobbies, on your yacht, on your plane, with the pilot, with the care provider, with the housemaid. And what I want you to hear, and this is your authority statement, leader: regulation is not just wellness, it's executive dominance. This is where you then turn to yourself in that mirror and you say, "You're holding it, man. Keep working on this area of your life. Keep pursuing this." And I call this the tactical reset. I'm going to give you one practical protocol as we wrap up. 60-second executive regulation reset. And it's done in 4 quadrants. If you're taking notes, write these down. I have these right here in our manual. It's coming right from our executive center right into your boardroom. Number 1, learn to breathe in your nose slowly. I mean, when a woman gives birth, they go through a whole category called Lamaze breathing. Why? Because the most extreme pain they are showing actually can regulate under systematic breathing. And then the same as when you release it. You release it very slow. This is the first level of engaging self-control on demand. You do this before the board meeting. You do this before you meet with the shareholders. Now, this is going to give you an edge, because when you focus your attention on the center of the heart and you activate gratitude or calm memory, even brief regulations have been shown by Stanford that this clinical breakthrough work, breath work, however you want to say it, reduces cortisol like that. And it produces increase focus in seconds, just like that. Just like that. Now, we're training executives in this module because oftentimes they can't even sit quiet enough to do that. When you're in an executive coaching session for 1 hour and you are working on systematic systems, because I'm a very systems guy, right? We got to run the whole company. All of that, this is not a cute little, oh, let's breathe and everything would be better. No, it's something that we're incorporating in to get you on the edge, and then your thinking processes go to a higher level, and then marketing goes to a higher level. Then team development goes to a higher level. Then your marriage and your relationships go to a higher level, and everything about you begins to change. Guess who's living proof of this? Guess who was the biggest failure in this? I love always pointing the finger at myself because I don't want you to think that there's something wrong with you. I want to let you know that even the best of the best, aspiring to be the best, right? We all deal with something in ourselves that needs not a hand out, but a hand up. Now, smart leaders make terrible decisions under pressure. You don't want to be one of those. It's the biology behind toxic leadership. It's not just personality, it's actually biology. And when you know how your nervous system shapes your company culture, you're onto a whole new level. Whole new level. Does that make sense, Tim? Pretty clear. I not only want to give these high level points, but I want to emphasize that most leaders think their problem is strategy. It's not. It starts with the nervous system. I think I lost my co-partner, Tim.
Hello.
There he is.
Wasn't
Right. I mean,
I was waiting
this
for the
piece
other
here.
points. That's what I was waiting for.
Oh, you want some more points? We're only 15, 16 minutes in, but my intention is never to be long-winded. It is to be effective. So if I can get this out to you in 15 minutes, executive, we're saving time, which is saving money. And we're all big on time. Time is the most valuable commodity. That's why we don't want to waste time in a dysregulated state, Tim. So just to wrap up, I want to emphasize when a leader is under pressure, the brain shifts. Prefrontal cortex goes down. That's your decision quality drops. Amygdala goes up. That's your reactive stress. And here's the point no one tells you. Dysregulated leaders don't just struggle personally. They create dysregulated teams. They create dysregulated cultures and companies. Your team doesn't follow just your vision. They mirror your state, right? So the future of leadership is not just more knowledge. It's better regulation. And you've got what it takes. Pick up the phone, send us an email, do a 90-day executive regulation program. I got a lot of executives in it. They love it. 90 days. If we need to do another 90, we'll do it. It's literally rewiring synaptic connections in your brain. It's straight biology. If you're a spiritual person, which I am, it's even stronger because now every university has a neurotheological department, right? Where they're saying, wow, look at the studies on the spiritual aspect of a human being who actually does this in conjunction with the deepest set of beliefs. It's just elevating you to a whole new level. That's what all these personal development experts do is they get you into a state where you start believing in yourself so deeply that it begins to alter the way you speak. And speaking is directly tied to how you think and how you act. And we know this. I got upset the other day. I said some things I shouldn't have said. Why did I say that? Well, the amygdala was online and the prefrontal cortex was offline. And I went, Ron, you know better than this, But I lost control. The fact that we can actually admit to that creates a transition in the optimization of your human performance. And just that alone is humility. It accelerates your development and your leadership assets overnight. All right, let me break them down. So number one is slow inhale, 5 seconds in, then slow exhale is number two. And then number 3 is focus attention on the center of the heart. So in essence, what I'm teaching leaders to do is breathe into the heart. We do this within the sequence of the coaching sessions goes the first 7 of 7, which is 7 parameters and 7 foundations that we have that are guidelines to optimizing performance. Financial is one of those components, mental, emotional, etc. And then the coaching session, after we get through the release, because talk therapy, the greatest attack on leaders is imposter syndrome, is that if I can't do it, it can't get done. That's a lie. It's the way you're regulating and processing that information that helps you with increased delegation. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and it's all the same problem. It hasn't changed even over 30 years. We're still dealing with the same toxic loads, if not even greater, because the market caps are getting bigger, so the demand is more pressure. The largest number, larger pressure. So 1 is inhale, 2 is exhale. And then 3, which we do in the sessions about 15 to 20 minutes in, is focus attention on the heart. What are the ingenuity ideas? What is coming out of you in a quiet state? I was just watching a documentary on Nikola Tesla and how he was one of the greatest inventors of our time. One of his secrets was stillness. You can't be still in a dysregulated body. You're not quiet long enough to actually innovate. Some of my most powerful ideas come late at night, total stillness, kids are down, or early hours of the morning. And guess what happens? When you start regulating at this level, you start feeling better. So my physical fitness component, my biology, my heart's doing better, my blood pressure's lowering, my cholesterol is regulating, which we also deal with. It's one of the pillars, physical health. Because without your health, there's no wealth. So inhale, exhale, 3, focus attention on the heart, and 4, and this is huge. And this is like one of those things where my big alpha male CEOs, they kind of, but then they start hearing all the studies, activate gratitude or attract a calm memory. Because you got to mix that into the heart, because she or he, however you refer to your heart, I refer to her as my soft side, right? So I refer to her as her. There ain't no woman in me, but I'll tell you right now, the gentleman is something that I am passionate about conditioning. I used to be an aggressive man, a fighting man, a bold man. Now I want to be a gentleman, because I have more restraint. Doesn't make me weak at all. Actually makes me more powerful. Even brief regulation practices have been shown to reduce the cortisol. And I'll tell some of you guys, and even you women, you're starting to get that belly bulge and you're working out, but it's really thick around the waist. You're shaped like an apple. That is more pressure around the heart versus someone who's bigger in the hips. They carry the weight lower, highest risk of coronary artery disease. So a lot of my executives are coming to me because of health concerns. And as you know, my background is in strength and conditioning. So I have a health background, which is monumental for executive performance. Monumental. Avoid rectal bleeding, irritable bowel syndrome, you name it. Just go down the list. Cholesterol. How about reducing your risk of stroke, Tim? We know 2 great leaders. My mentor personally died of a stroke 2 years ago. Devastated me. Could have been prevented. Now we're dealing with a genetic disposition. You got that in the lineage? Go through our DNA assessment, leader. Find out what's behind your biology and watch it turn into profitability, longevity, and your outcomes for your legacy will change forever.
Powerful. Absolutely powerful there. It's interesting. One of the questions I wrote down here was actually related to stress. Because how many I know over the course of my career, and I don't have the studies in front of me, but I'm sure there's quite a few studies on people in high positions having heart issues and
Yeah.
either dying or at least having severe strokes in those senior positions because
Yeah.
of this accumulated stress, not just in the current role, But if you're not engaging to get help on how to do the things you just walked us through here, it's accumulating over your career, correct? Is that
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. In fact, let me pull that up. I just went through this with another executive. I wasn't prepared for that, but well, first of all, you have to remember that the arterial wall inside the arteries and the capillaries, really the arteries, they're the blood pressure, it's called pressure. The reason why it goes up is because we develop what we call atherosclerosis. So you have the artery, and then it begins, the stress actually builds this pocket of plaque. So what happens is you begin to narrow the artery where the blood can't flow in there, and then all of a sudden you've got high blood pressure, or what we call hypertension. You should be focusing on the diastolic number on the bottom, because that number is the amount of pressure coming back out. We want to regulate that, so it could be distributed to the body. So one of my guys, this gentleman too, big CEO, I think he's probably a billionaire now. He had a widowmaker, which basically is the overlapping of the two arteries, phlegm inflammation. It can also be genetic, but it comes through the vagus nerve, be in from the left atrium, because all of a sudden it gets blocked, kill you overnight.
Wow.
So when you're trying to justify expense of having a confidant in your life, it's absolutely invaluable. This is a P&L. Your nervous system is a P&L. And that P&L should have allocated right away. I need a guy that can help me stay on my A game. It's invaluable. I am the most lucrative investment. And I'll tell you, the guys and the gals that are doing this, they're not only creating more lucrative companies, they're creating more lucrative lives, healthy lives, balanced lives, family lives, like the essence of what they're working so hard to achieve. It's just a no-brainer. Um, Here, I got it here. Work at a University College of London Whithill study found that individuals with high work stress had up to 23% increase in heart disease. 23. Another one showed, another one showed it even higher. I think that was lower. Anyway, I can't find it right now, but I'll get it for next show. But I mean, 23% on our portfolio is pretty damn good. I mean, if you're going to change something, we want it high 20s, 30, 40, 50%. This is your golden nugget.
I want to come back to, you were talking about innovation. And as you know, innovation is one of my passionate topics.
Yeah.
And in corporate America, the way, at least in the digital innovation side, is interesting how different companies addressed innovation, because a number of companies, they basically broke away from the cubicle idea, turned it into open space where there's a lot of noise. And I
Yeah.
remember one of the complaints from engineers all the time is, man, I wish I could be more innovative, but it is so loud on this floor now that they removed all the cube walls and everything.
Mm.
And so my question to you is, for, because I know many people are working in those open spaces on the floor,
Yeah.
how can they get a quiet time to innovate when their workspace is not conducive to it?
I have never been asked that question. The first thing that comes to mind is there has to be a certain level of coherence for you to hear those sounds. So maybe understanding, ADD is attention deficit problem, auditory. So there's a registering in the brain that doesn't adhere to the attention. People say, I've got ADD, I got ADD. I wouldn't say that. University of London, ironically, and a World Health Organization show prolonged environmental noise is linked to higher stress levels, impaired cognition, and increased cardiovascular strain. Now, Cornell also, Tim, found that office noise can significantly reduce task performance. So you're really onto something. So that's why I say understand your biology. If you are more sensitive, you better drop some earphones in. That's a quick fix if your work will allow it. Number two is you need to bring this up with HR and you need to show them these studies. Don't position it as a complaint, positioned it as a performance variable. Knowing the language to use with human resources is monumental. Just got done coaching a junior level executive. He's trying to navigate through HR. I'm like, listen, you're talking like a child. Respectfully, I said this to him. I said, you better talk like the leader that you are. There's a language for HR they're looking for. Forget the emotion. Get down to the performance, right? If we could come up with a saying, it would be, I just wrote this down when you were talking, acoustic chaos creates cognitive chaos.
Yeah,
Acoustically, acoustic chaos creates cognitive chaos. So learning how to breathe into that, focus it out, and also do something about it. Quick resolve, headphones. Second resolve, you need to go to HR and mention something about it.
All right. Well, we are out of time here. I have more questions here, but this is a really huge topic. The correlation
Huge.
between your behavior and strategy. I got several questions there, but we'll have to come back to those on another time.
Pick this
What's
up
your
next
final
week.
thoughts here? Yeah. What's your final thoughts?
Final thoughts, be a doer of your passion, not just a hearer deceiving yourself. Do what you believe in your heart is the best thing to do. That's the fullness of regulation. And if you need help, real leaders make the call. They don't wait, they make it happen. Make something happen for you this week. Call our offices. Do a 90-day program. Invest in yourself. It's April at the time of this recording. We're moving into May, 6-month mark of the year coming up. Make the second half of this year so unstoppable. You watch what happens in 90 days, and we'll make sure that you are operating on a level that you've never dreamed of. You can reach us at elitelevelcoach@gmail.com, elitelevelcoach@gmail.com. Hit us up on LinkedIn, all the socials, Instagram, X, or even TikTok. And we'll make sure someone reaches back out to you. You got what it takes. I'm Coach Ron Kardashian, Tim Boyko. This is why we're always winning.